India is witnessing one of the fastest growing urban transformations in the world, and by 2030, over 600 million Indians will call cities their home. To support this growth, we need huge urban infrastructure investments. The Government of India's massive push for infrastructure development, combined with a budgetary allocation of 3.3% of GDP, is fueling high-quality growth in mobility, housing, logistics, and digital connectivity. However, urban local bodies still face multidimensional challenges, from capacity building to project preparation, from fund mobilization to investment facilitation. To address these issues, HUDCO, under the guidance of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, proudly announces the Urban Invest Window, or in short, UiWIN. HUDCO will repurpose its 20 regional offices to handhold the states and cities at every step of the project journey, from identification of projects to their technical and financial structuring, capital mobilization to project implementation. Through UiWIN, cities can submit infrastructure proposals needing more investments. Will work closely with ULBs and states. Projects will be shaped into bankable, credible, investment-ready proposals. Cities are connected with investors, both domestic and global. UiWIN will also facilitate enhanced HUDCO lending for urban projects, PPP structuring, and private investments for scale, long tenor concessional and competitive financing from multilaterals like WB, ADB, and others, municipal and pooled bonds access for ULBs, land value capture and monetization guidance, convergence with central and state schemes for added funding. HUDCO's pan-India network of offices and the Central Training Institute, Human Settlement Management Institute, will serve as a hub-and-spoke ecosystem to handhold ULBs across India in building a pipeline of bankable, future-ready urban projects. India's first urban financing exchange, built for scale, trust, and speed. Our mission is simple: empower Indian cities to access more capital, faster and on better terms. Come, partner with us to build essential and appropriate infrastructure in every city as we march towards Viksit Bharat 2047. India is witnessing one of the fastest growing urban transformations in the world, and by 2030, over 600 million Indians will call cities their home. To support this growth, we need huge urban infrastructure investments. The Government of India's massive push for infrastructure development, combined with a budgetary allocation of 3.3% of GDP, is fueling high-quality growth in mobility, housing, logistics, and digital connectivity. However, urban local bodies still face multidimensional challenges, from capacity building to project preparation, from fund mobilization to investment facilitation. To address these issues, HUDCO, under the guidance of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, proudly announces the Urban Invest Window, or in short, UiWIN. HUDCO will repurpose its 20 regional offices to handhold the states and cities at every step of the project journey, from identification of projects to their technical and financial structuring, capital mobilization to project implementation. Through UiWIN, cities can submit infrastructure proposals needing more investments. Will work closely with ULBs and states. Projects will be shaped into bankable, credible, investment-ready proposals. Cities are connected with investors, both domestic and global. UiWIN will also facilitate enhanced HUDCO lending for urban projects, PPP structuring, and private investments for scale, long tenor concessional and competitive financing from multilaterals like WB, ADB, and others, municipal and pooled bonds access for ULBs, land value capture and monetization guidance, convergence with central and state schemes for added funding. HUDCO's pan-India network of offices and the Central Training Institute, Human Settlement Management Institute, will serve as a hub-and-spoke ecosystem to handhold ULBs across India in building a pipeline of bankable, future-ready urban projects. India's first urban financing exchange, built for scale, trust, and speed. Our mission is simple: empower Indian cities to access more capital faster and on better terms. Come, partner with us to build essential and appropriate infrastructure in every city as we march towards Viksit Bharat 2047. India is witnessing one of the fastest growing urban transformations in the world, and by 2030, over 600 million Indians will call cities their home. To support this growth, we need huge urban infrastructure investments. The Government of India's massive push for infrastructure development, combined with a budgetary allocation of 3.3% of GDP, is fueling high quality growth in mobility, housing, logistics, and digital connectivity. However, urban local bodies still face multidimensional challenges, from capacity building to project preparation, from fund mobilization to investment facilitation. To address these issues, HUDCO, under the guidance of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, proudly announces the Urban Invest Window, or in short, UiWIN. HUDCO will repurpose its 20 regional offices to handhold the states and cities at every step of the project journey, from identification of projects to their technical and financial structuring, capital mobilization to project implementation. Through UiWIN, cities can submit infrastructure proposals needing more investments. Will work closely with ULBs and states. Projects will be shaped into bankable, credible, investment-ready proposals. Cities are connected with investors, both domestic and global. UiWIN will also facilitate enhanced HUDCO lending for urban projects, PPP structuring, and private investments to scale, long tenor concessional and competitive financing from multilaterals like WB, ADB, and others, municipal and pooled bonds access for ULBs, land value capture and monetization guidance, convergence with central and state schemes for added funding. HUDCO's pan-India network of offices and the Central Training Institute, Human Settlement Management Institute, will serve as a hub-and-spoke ecosystem to handhold ULBs across India in building a pipeline of bankable, future-ready urban projects. India's first urban financing exchange, built for scale, trust, and speed. Our mission is simple: empower Indian cities to access more capital faster and on better terms. Come, partner with us to build essential and appropriate infrastructure in every city as we march towards Viksit Bharat 2047. India is witnessing one of the fastest growing urban transformations in the world, and by 2030, over 600 million Indians will call cities their.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to day 2 of the UiWIN Regional Workshop hosted by HUDCO. We hope you had a productive first day and are looking forward to another engaging series of discussions today. Yesterday, one of our speakers very beautifully said that we have to, have a value for all our assets. And one of the examples he stated was our very own shoreline outside here. So I hope each one of you had the opportunity to enjoy the evening yesterday with some summer breeze that was blowing in from the Bay of Bengal, and we welcome you to this wonderful morning here. It gives me great pleasure to welcome for our technical session 4 to begin this morning, Mr. M. Nagraj, DCP, HUDCO. Ladies and gentlemen, we can welcome him with a huge round of applause. We have in our midst Mr. Prabhat Kumar, Director, Janagraha. Welcome, sir. Good morning. We also have with us Shri Sanjay Joshi, Principal Urban Development Specialist, ADB. Ms. Puvita, IAS, MD, CUI, DFC. We have Mr. Diljit Singh. Okay, all right. So as of now, I will hand over the event to Mr. Prabhat Kumar for his presentation. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Can we get the presentation here? So, the topic of my presentation today is what 16th Finance Commission has recommended for urban India. Why Finance Commission matters? I think first I would like to talk a few minutes on this. Finance Commission is one of the institutions, at least if you think about with respect to cities, which has worked very well actually. The mandate started from 10th Finance Commission, and post that there has been significant increase in allocations from different finance commissions. Not just the allocations but also reforms as well. If you think about what are the reforms that has happened on municipal finances in India, and you can trace the journey back to recommendations of Finance Commission, be it 11, 12, 13, 14th, and most importantly, most recently 15th Finance Commission, who has pushed the needle further on audit accounts, property taxes, and some other reforms as well. While we know urban is a state subject, still state finance commissions, the way they should work are not working. In that case, Union Finance Commission grants becomes one of the most critical and most reliable grants across the states, in fact. Barring few states where state finance commissions work really well, there the dependence on the Union Finance Commission is low, but other places the dependence on Union Finance Commission is pretty high. And we have looked data from many states, and what we have realized is in many states, not all, most of the capital expenditure by urban local governments happens through Union Finance Commission. The states where the financial position of the state government is pretty well, there some money is going from the state government to urban local government for capital expenditure. But since now many states are struggling with overall financial position, the Union Finance Commission becomes one of the most important sources. I think everybody in this room is aware of this. But does Union Finance Commission grants play same role for different type of cities? No. We know the larger cities have better own source of revenue. The dependency on the grant itself is pretty low. If you look at metropolitan cities, they generate around 69% of their revenue from their own sources. They just rely, 24% of their revenues comes from the grants. But if you look at the smaller cities, which is 57% of their revenues come from the grant itself. In that case, if there is a significant increase the grant amount, then there is a kind of greater money that is available to them if the per capita increases significantly. This has been the journey of finance commissions from 10th Finance Commission, which allocated around 5,000 crore, to 15th Finance Commission, which allocated around 4,36,000 crore to overall local governments. If you look at the second right column as well, the share of local government grant in divisible pool increased from 0.26% to 1.40%. Although 16th Finance Commission report doesn't mention how much money they have recommended for as a share of divisible pool, but our suggestions and the kind of the estimation, it's around 1.43, 1.44%. So they have kind of continued the trend. This trend has been continued despite there has been several pushback from different quarters that local governments are not generating their own source of revenue significantly. The way grants are moving, their own source of revenue is not generating to that extent. And Union Finance Commission, while allocating this amount, kind of realize that it's the local government might not be at the fault when own source of revenues are not increasing, because most of the kind of the rules of the games are set by state governments. Local governments are mostly implementers, and mostly you can do is kind of improve the coverage and collection efficiency, but in many places the rates haven't been revised for 20 years, 15 years. And there is a significant pressure as well. And many states, if you think about the recent poll, although it's good that now none of the state elections, abolition of property taxes has come up yet. But 3 or 4 or 5 years before, many states were considering and many parties had put it as a kind of one of the election promises that the property tax below a certain household size will not be there, or in fact will not be there at all. So overall, Union Finance Commission has recommended around 8 lakh crore over 5 years for local governments as a whole, which is 1.5 times of the allocations under the previous Finance Commission. If we think about rural and urban, the urban share is around 45% of the total money. That reflects three things, the commission that has kind of acknowledged. One, there is a urbanization has grown. Second, the cost of even the supply of the services or infrastructure is bit more due to the density and other factors, and the kind of the type of infrastructure, underground sewerage networks, is more. And third, the role they play in overall economic growth of the country as well. And we need to kind of improve the quality of life and services in our cities if we want to continue on the path of economic growth and kind of be Vikshit Bharat by 2047. How even within this so for urban local government, around 3.56 lakh crore has been allocated over 5 years. If we compare to the previous Finance Commission, it was 1.55 lakh crore. Out of 1.55 lakh crore, also around 40,000 crore was for health services and for improving air quality. Much of this money never reached local governments. I'm talking in India sense. Few states the story is different. Few cities the story might be different, but 90% of the cities didn't get the money from both those two pots. So around 1.8 lakh crore. Now the all 3.56 lakh crore would go to the urban local body. So this also is more than 3 times the money that is available that will go to the urban local governments. If we, but this is not just the kind of, even the composition of how the grants have been allocated matters a lot. Various finance commissions has come up with various innovations. So if you think we have just compared the 13th, 14th and 15th. So 13 for the first time introduced performance-based grants. Around 35% of the grants were linked to the performance. 14th also continued, and only 20% of the grant was linked to the performance based. 3 simple performance: submission of audited accounts, increase in own source of revenue, disclosure of service level benchmarks. But if you come to 15th Finance Commission, 100% of the grant was linked to one or other condition. The same condition: submission of audited accounts, increase in own source of revenue, disclosure of service level benchmarks, that was just linked to the 20% of the money under the 14th Finance Commission, has been kind of increased to 100% of the grant in 15th Finance Commission. The good news is most of the, whatever the data that we have seen till now, the release of money from 14th Finance Commission to the cities and in 15th Finance Commission to the cities, almost same, the percentage release. So that means a lot of reforms happened. Some action happened on the ground. Few people can question it, but still property tax increased to a significant amount. More than our data suggests, it's increased more than between 18-19 to 22-23-24. Around there is 50% increase in the property taxes. Each year, the property tax increase, more than 95% of the cities are producing audited accounts as of now. If we look at, and this is one very interesting graph. So we know Ministry of Housing Urban Affairs budgets comprises central sponsored schemes, central sector schemes, and other allocations as well. The two significant allocations are Metro and PMAY. They command chunk of the each year more than 50,000 crore goes to these two things itself. PMAY doesn't go to the city itself; it goes to the individual beneficiary. MRTS goes to few cities. The red line denotes the money that is, if we remove these two schemes, the MRT, the Metro and the PMAY, the red line is the allocation of two cities under the Mahua budget, and the blue line is the 15th, the FC grants along with the projected one. So you can see how much the importance of Finance Commission grants with respect to cities, with respect to union allocations itself. So union allocations has almost remained kind of horizontal from 2021, even from 18-19 onwards. But the Union Finance Commission's grants has been increasing at a very significant rate. This will be the per capita allocation. The per capita allocation has been calculated as per the kind of the projected population itself. So for calculation of per capita, 2030-31 projected population has been kind of considered. So in 15th Finance Commission, there has been kind of the grant amount was flat actually. The 16th Finance Commission has corrected it. Now it will, each year the per capita amount will grow. What their cities are getting in 552 in 25-26, by 2031, 30-31 it will be 1433. So almost bit less than the 3%, 3 times increase. One thing that 16th Finance Commission has introduced, earlier most of the grant, they have introduced within states itself, they have introduced a kind of a weight for own source revenue increase itself. The states which will kind of have better own source of revenue, they will get more grants with proportion to it. 90% weightage is given to population, 10% is given to increase in own source of revenue. So the graph on the left side, and they have kind of normalized with the gross value added in services and manufacturing sector to do some normalization so that the Maharashtra, Gujarat and other, because they command around, Maharashtra, Gujarat combined command around 40% of the own source revenue in the country. If we club southern states, it becomes 70% around. So they have normalized it. So, but still if you can see Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, even to Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Andhra, these are the states which got huge boost in the grants from the Commission. This is the kind of who are the winners and losers. We are just looking from the urban grants itself. So Kerala almost 415% increase, Goa 387% increase, Maharashtra 3 times, Gujarat almost kind of 273% increase. So these are the states. So if you think, take example of a large state like Maharashtra. In last Finance Commission, 11,000 crore, 11,600 crore went to Maharashtra's local bodies. Now this amount will be 46,000 crore, almost 4 times. In Kerala, it's more. Kerala 3,000 crore to 16,000 crore. This raises a very important question as well that many of the people in the room are aware of. Will cities be able to utilize this money itself? And if this is the percentage, and I think also very pertinent to question in this room, then what will be the appetite for cities to raise additional sources of money? Because we know different CAG reports have highlighted, we are able to spend around 70, 80, 70% of the money that is available with the cities. Now, if that money increases by 4 times, five times in certain cases, what will be the appetite of the external source of borrowing or kind of the commercial borrowing, and also appetite for to ground this money itself. This is the overall kind of the distribution. 65% of the grant is basic grant, 16% is performance grant. There is an interesting thing called a special infrastructure component. I will talk a bit more about it. That is 56,000 crore for wastewater management and an urbanization premium of 10,000 crore. Except tide grant around 116 lakh crore, 1.16 lakh crore, all other grants are untied. So this has been a significant departure from the past where, and various kind of our studies have also seen when there is a tied grant, significant amount of grant is tied, the expenditure kind of the percentage dips actually. Because most of the money that cities get from state or union are tied. Even state finance commissions largely tied to salary or something. But this was the money which was untied, and even in 15th finance commission, when they tied it too much, the kind of the expenditure percentage reduced. And also many of the places the cities didn't have the water supply function or the functions that money was tied to. So they were kind of left to might under kind of efficient utilization of the money. Because you have to spend the money, you are taking the projects that you can do, even if it's not the best project. 56,000 crore, there is a catch into it. 40% has been to be mobilized by state and cities. So this 56,000 crore will need another some 40,000 crore, and this can, I think this is something that can be a good opportunity for commercial borrowing as well. The rest 40% comes from the market. These are the cities which are the beneficiary, and some of the cities that I have looked at the number, like if we talk about Lucknow, they will get 4,000, around 4,000 crore additional to their normal 16th Finance Commission grants. The other grants that Lucknow's per year infrastructure spending is almost 800 crores today. So 800 crore, 4,000 coming more, so 800 crore becomes double. The grants, the normal grants is also increasing, so they would have a lot of money to spend on. And if we are able to utilize this money in a very effective way, then there can be significant boost to the quality of life. I have marked the cities that are from the southern region. So Visakhapatnam will get around 26,000 crore over next 5 years. This is estimated amount because the formula hasn't been given by Finance Commission. Because Visakhapatnam 2,600 crore for wastewater management. Coimbatore, Vijayawada and Madurai are the other states from southern region who will be getting money under this component. One interesting thing that Finance Commission has done is they have recommended 10,000 crore of an infrastructure premium. That is, if we know how, urbanization premium, we know how urbanization or municipalization happen in the country. It happens with a stroke of pen, where one day you are a rural local body or panchayat, next day you become urban, kind of part of the urban, either the panchayat itself becomes urban or you are merged into another municipality. But the services and the kind of the infrastructure never arrives. It takes 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. So even both entities to sort out what are the assets, what are the liabilities, or even put a staff or something on that. For that, they have come up with a kind of good where they have recommended that each state should have a policy, and they have put some money behind it as well to incentivize this. These are the 3 eligibility criterias to get all the grants. The first one is all local bodies should be elected. Only elected bodies will get the grant. In 15th Finance Commission, many states didn't get the grant because, or they lost part of the grant. Bangalore, Mumbai, big cities that I am naming, some cities in Jharkhand, Maharashtra. Now elections happened in Maharashtra, so grants might go to those cities, but they lost the ground because the election was not there. Commission has put its foot forward. If you want to kind of get the Union Finance Commission grants, then you have to kind of do the elections. Public disclosed audited accounts and constitute SFC report as well. And this, the 15th Finance Commission has also put this condition. They have gone one step ahead and they said the ATR should be placed within 6 months. Why this is important? Because the way Union Finance Commissions have been at the forefront of to support local governments, state finance commissions have a long way to go. Although the good news is, based on the 15th Finance Commission recommendations, more than almost most of the states have formed finance commissions, so they are compliant. More than 11 is finance commission as well. Now we have a season of finance commission going on. Odisha put its report, Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra also most probably will table its report in a day or two. So if we look at all this, so Union Finance Commission, Urban Challenge Fund and the state finance commissions, where we are seeing in in Odisha, almost the grant has been doubled between previous finance commission and this finance commission. So this overall, these initiatives provide a, so I don't think money is that big a challenge for next 5 years, at least the kind of the money that we are seeing on the table right now. The challenge is how do we kind of utilize this? That's the big challenge that I am seeing. Finance Commission has also given some recommendations as well. Reform recommendations, modernizing property tax, improving audit and accountability, leveraging platform for transparency, strengthening finance commissions. One, they have linked it to the basic and mandatory conditions, but also they have kind of recommended NITI to do a study on which are the finance commissions working well, which are not. Service level benchmarks. On service level benchmark, Finance Commission has pushed the envelope further and said the whole framework needs to be kind of looked at, and recommended CAG, state governments and the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs to come up with a better kind of the process of coming up with service level benchmark as well. Within close, like we know service level benchmarks, there is a lot of improvement that is needed despite their kind of the almost 20 years exercise. I think 2007 or 8 first service level benchmark initiative is started. The second thing and the sixth that is one of very important thing, where cities do not know how much money they are going to get from the state governments. Barring few states where their budget documents contain an annexure where they, each city wise or local government wise, they provide how much money under what kind of head cities are supposed to get. Finance Commission has said that all states should disclose this thing each year with the budget. This provides some predictability to cities to plan their expenditure itself. Otherwise, nobody knows. There will be a kind of a number in the state budget, but the bifurcation is not known most of the times. Having said that, and we feel few of the things that cities that can be done, and where UiWIN also falls squarely within that and is trying to do some of those things itself, is kind of because we know some of the performance grants. I miss talking about 2 performance grant has been introduced, one linked to own source of revenue and the second one linked to the state transferring grants to cities itself. So for maximizing the for capitalizing that own source of revenue special grants, integrating property tax database with other municipal department, and I think many southern states have already done that. And it's it's in practice, adopting capital value method for property tax, levy of user charges linked to O&M cost recovery, and the last one on the the financial sustainability framework for levy of land value capture measures. The second one, I think that becomes most important, is how are we going to use this money, and how do we improve our capacity so that we are able to utilize this increase in the grants. So advisory support to local governments where states has to do this, because we know states control the cadre, state controls the staffing. Local governments, most of the things state control. So where state has to step in and create capacity, just like HUDCO is creating capacities, maybe partner with HUDCO and other agencies, create capacities at the state level for helping cities to prepare the projects, preparing city action plans, city investment plan, so that now there is a, most of the places there is a visibility on money for next 5 years. In India, our panchayats prepare panchayat development plan. There is no equivalent for that in cities, and high time we start preparing that. Otherwise, most of that expenditure will be ad hoc in nature. Money comes and kind of we spend that day what was the priority, we spend money on that actually. Kind of digitize the kind of the process flow of overall financial management and works management. And we know Andhra Telangana has better digital systems, better capacities as well to do that kind of to undertake digital exercises, and that they should do. Accountability reforms. You might be aware that and you might not be aware actually, for any panchayat, I can just log in on eGram Swaraj and I can find what projects were undertaken, who was the contractor, what was the amount, what was the photo of that project under from 15th Finance Commission grants. So complete transparency on the money, what was, how much money they got, what they spend on what projects, with all the details. Same level of transparency, I think, is in my recollection, it's not there on any of the states for urban. So something around that I think can be pushed, where state governments can take a lead. What if Union Finance Commission can't recommend everything? Where state governments can take a lead and kind of follow the learning from the panchayati system and kind of move to complete transparency, at least from the finance commission grants. Increasingly, what we are saying, many state finance commissions are pushing for that. Odisha State Finance Commission has recommended, Odisha state government is building such system as well to make all the project level data in public on how much expenditure is happening where, with all the projects and photos and all. Yep, and I think 15th Finance Commission did one good thing where they kind of pushed for publication of audited accounts. 95% of the cities are doing it. The next push where state governments can play a role or improving the quality of it, and maybe hire better CAs than what you were hiring before. Elections on time, formation of SFCs, these are some things that I don't need to kind of, yeah. So I think here comes the end of my presentation. Overall, next 5 years, if we combine everything that is happening in the ecosystem, Urban Challenge Fund, Finance Commissions, many state finance commission reports, UiWIN kind of facility. So overall, I feel there is enough money on the plate. We need to increase the overall capacities within the ULBs to absorb that money. And not just absorb that money for the projects which would lead to better quality of life. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Prabhat Kumar, for sharing your insights and your experience on the presentation, on the analysis of the, I've forgotten to read Roman numbers, but I think this is 16th, right? 16th Finance Commission grants for the urban India. At this time, I would like to invite on stage Shri Ketan Garg, IAS Commissioner, GVMC. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause. Thank you for being with us here, sir, this morning. I would also like to invite Shri Sanjay Joshi, Principal Urban Development Specialist, ADB, to do his presentation and then take over as moderator. Thank you.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you, HUDCO, for organizing this very interesting and very timely workshop, and also inviting us for presenting in this workshop. So already I think we talked about 16 finance commissions and the transfers to the urban local bodies, the grants coming from the finance commissions. Now I'll be slightly deep dive into the various government schemes and how we can, you know, kind of have a convergence of various government schemes that can be, utilized to our urban development agenda. Okay, so I think we learnt about yesterday huge urban investment requirements, and how these are cities are engines of economic growth. So I will not repeat that, but I think what is important is that over next decade, I think what we are going to see is the uh, particularly urban population when it's going to grow up. I think the cities are getting expanded also in the peri-urban areas, and the problem not systematically developed. So it starts PM2. I think most of you are putting data on all these Amrut platforms and all. Those are all developed by ADB's technical assistants. And now there is a announcement of Urban Challenge Fund. There again, ADB is supporting Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Entire program management of Urban Challenge Fund is monitored at the Mahua level. So the question is why convergence matter? As we see that it requires urban is not just a one sort of a area. There are several factors like it's starting from water, sewerage, storm water. These are basic things, but urban development also encompasses how transport network, road network, creating green spaces and making cities livable. So by having convergence, we can align investments with economic development and strategies. That's point number one. We can leverage different sources available. Also, that will help in improving project financial viability and financial sustainability, and also strengthening regional planning across the cities, and also accelerate in implementation by taking different scheme into account. I mean, most of you know that Amrut 2 was launched mainly to create a core infrastructure and water and sanitation. Huh? Oh, okay. Sorry. Uh, Urban 2 core infrastructure, this plan to create a core infrastructure, and it has several reform linked and performance based approach. And I think what Amrut 2, my point, I think what I am trying to make is that how best we can utilize Amrut 2 we talked yesterday a lot about how we can improve the service delivery. I think that's very, very important. So there are quite a significant elements in Amrut 2, for example, reduction of non-revenue water, also sewage recycle. So these are some of the elements where Amrut 2 funds can be effectively utilized. Because today what's happening is Amrut 2 funds are allocated to the states based on population area, and each state and gets very fixed amount of money which get distributed into the projects. So if we do small projects here and there, actually it will not impact the service level improvement. So I think the point I'm making is that when you look at it as a economic region or city development, I think one of the key criteria is how you make cities, one is how you attract economy to the city, and also how make the cities livable. And for which I think the most important point is how we can improve service delivery. And that is where I think the point I'm trying to make is we can use this type of schemes for improving this service delivery. The second thing is about Urban Challenge Fund, which is, of course, we expect guidelines to come in. But this is primarily to look at the innovative, catalytic and transformative urban sector projects which can improve economic and functional capacity of the city. So here they are looking at, say, any project will get about 25% of grant, provided 50% of the finances is raised from the either from municipal bonds or PPPs or any commercial banks. So this particular thing will attract a lot of this options for the PPP development and very specific projects. I think we will also get to know about the guideline when the guidelines are issued, but there is also one important feature in the program of UCF is about credit repayment guarantees for smaller ULBs, because smaller ULBs, they cannot raise the funds. So actually this urban challenge fund, part of the money is allocated to ensure that they go to the market, raise, and initially the credit guarantees will be provided by them. Not moving. Next slide. Yeah. So yesterday, of course, there was a special session by Anna Ma'am from the city economic region. So this is one announcement which has been made. I think this currently there are like selected city economic regions, but what we have been seeing is that more and more states are approaching this city economic region, and recently Andhra Pradesh has announced Vishakhapatnam is one city economic region, but they have announced two more. One is Amravati capital city and second one is Tirupati. Similarly, we have also worked very closely with Government of Maharashtra, where Nagpur was considered as Nagpur with 6 districts. They are taking into consideration for economic region. So primarily, I think it's a cluster of districts and cities where it encompasses peri-urban areas, and entire sort of thing is looking at one economic region, and this radius can go up to like 200 kilometers also. Urban Infrastructure Development Fund is another sort of long-term, low-cost institutional financing. It is managed through National Housing Bank, and there is an allocation of 10,000 crore. And this fund also can play important role in bridging the financing gap for smaller cities, particularly those that have not sufficient creditworthiness to accelerate these capital markets. So just in a summary, when we pull the funds from like government grants coming from various national flagship programs like Amrut, PMAY, Swachh Bharat Mission, Urban Challenge Fund, Finance Commission grants, which we talked about, and also in addition to that their state's own program, which also are significant in several states. We look at private investments, institutional financing, and market-based financing. So these are some of the, which is like municipal bonds, pooled finance, these are some of the elements. So I'll just go to last slide. So I think when we talked about 2047 Vikasit Bharat, this transition requires coordinated planning, strong institutions, and innovative financing. I think the full potential of all the schemes together can only be realized when we have a strategic convergence and pulling different resources. So all infrastructure with regional strategies, which we can align. Second, of course, is the most important thing is on the strengthening municipal finances and capacity development. And thirdly, how we leverage on the public capital. So these are some of the thoughts I want to put on the table. And thank you very much. Okay. So first of all, let me welcome all the panel members, and I'm just moderating this session. So when we talked about all the various schemes and how we can integrate this thing, so let's have some sort of get some opinions and feedbacks from our esteemed panelists. So first, maybe I'll go to Ms. Puita ma'am. So how can cities develop integrated infrastructure pipeline that combines multiple schemes effectively? Because I understand you have a World Bank project where you have done this kind of thing. So maybe if you would like to share some thoughts on this, which will be helpful for the audience. Yeah.
Thank you. Uh, First of all, I should thank HUDCO for bringing all of us into this forum where we have been discussing since yesterday, not just where we should go, but how we should reach that destination. Since yesterday, we have been discussing about this paradigm shift of urban financing from grants to loans to self-financing. Now, with the experience of KUIDFC, I should say, yes, it is the need of the hour. Because Karnataka Urban Infrastructure Development and Finance Corporation has been doing big investment projects with the help of funds and loans from external aided agencies like World Bank and ADB. And if we have before we thought we will take up a new project, we thought we will assess the assets that have been created out of these loans and grants that we have done in the past. So when we assessed, we found out that these assets are not performing in the way it should have been. Most of them are performing in a suboptimal way, and the reasons are basically two. One, the ULBs have never been part of the project planning or during implementation. And most of these assets have been done only using the grants, and it was given to them free of cost. Two, while we have implemented and handed over the projects to them, there has absolutely been no capacity building or technical upgradation or financial assessment of the ULBs, whether they are capable of doing the operation and maintenance of these projects. So, jotting down on these two reasons, when we took up the 24/7 water supply with the help of World Bank, we thought that we will address all these issues when we take up this 3,000 crore project, which we are doing in 3 cities, Gulbarga, Belgavi and Hubli Dawad. So first we thought, before we will think about, the finances from the other agencies or raising it through bonds, we thought first we will tap the potential of the local revenue generation that we will have to do to ensure that this project that we do will be revenue generating, that will be sufficient at least for the operation and maintenance of this huge project. So with the help of World Bank, when we formulated this project itself, ULB has been an integral part in planning the project. And during every phase of implementation, the project is currently in the implementation phase. The ULB is being enrolled into every activity of this project. So first we thought we will do a complete replanning of the entire taxation, water tax structure. So for what we are doing is we are doing a customer survey and enrolling and bringing every household into the tax net, and we have been successful in doing that. And then we have been collecting documents, and whoever is not having legal documents also, we with after such a large and time consuming legal consultation and all, we just made sure that everyone is being brought into this tax net without having any legal implications for the ULB also. So, and of course, now we'll have to have proper grievance redressal system so that when we bring them into TaxNet, there are not much questions. And slowly, whenever we are rolling out the zones, we are doing this metering, and then we are bringing these zones into volumetric billing system. Now, as a result of all these integrated activities, I should say that not just the tax collection efficiency has risen from 60% to 85%, even the demand we were able to improve at least by 10% in each of these cities. Now, this way we have demonstrated that the potential of local revenue generation itself has not been done to its possible extent by most of the ULBs. Now, I would like to say that in Hubli Dharwad at least 90% of the overall payment that is done through online payment thanks to the IEC and the capacity building systems that we have put in uh, as part of this scheme. And next, one major reform that we are doing is formation of a city water company, which will be an independent company, which will comprise of officials from both state level and the district level, and the elected representatives, and of course the independent directors who will have expertise in the water supply. Now, once this project is rolled out, the entire water supply to these three cities will be taken care of by the city water company. By meaning there will be financial devolution also. Whatever revenue is being collected out of this water supply scheme, whatever tax is being levied, and whatever collection is done for the new connections, and whatever finance commission grants, tight grants that will be coming for the water supply, all of this will be routed only through the city water company, and the city water company will be looking into both the O&M and the capital expenditure that will be incurring for this water supply scheme. And with this CWC being put in place, I think it is not just now we'll be saturating the local tax generation that we ought to have done, and then it makes us easier to raise the external funding also through be it municipal bonds, and our state has a local UIDF fund which we give for infrastructure creation. So this way we have tried to converge all the best practices so that we can tap into every possible revenues, that may it be grant, may it be a loan, and may it be probably in future if we think of this municipal bonds also. And by convergence, I think it is not just convergence of funds. Now since we have built this best practice, since through Amrut 2 we are doing this 24/7 water supply to other ULBs. Now we are handholding now we are planning to handhold the other ULBs also to go through this entire journey so that we make them revenue surplus ULBs. So I think by convergence, we can all think of just conversion of the best practices also, so that across these schemes also there are so many things which we can converge. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, madam. I think this is a very important point, that convergence of best practices is also yeah, important apart from the funds, and particularly I think the model you talked about of the water company, where at least there is accountability of the revenues. And now I just move on to Mr. Ketan sir. Uh, yeah, I think GBMC is in a way is very progressive. I think we have seen, of course, ADB is doing a project where service level improvements we have seen unaccounted for water going down below 10%. I mean, this is a remarkable achievement in terms of, the situation what we see. But in addition to that, you have waste management, you have PPPs, you have also accessed in IFC recently for funding your sewerage project. So my question is, how cities, I mean, what cities need to do to attract private investments and PPPs for, public-private partnership? So based on your experience, can you maybe guide us the cities about, what differently Visakhapatnam did? Because I think IFC is the first transaction in the country where the direct lending is, possible. Yeah.
Thank you, Sanjay ji. Good morning, everyone. I heartily welcome CMD Saab, CMD HUDCO, and all the team, and Prabhat ji and Pujita ma'am, and Director Corporate Planning HUDCO. So, first of all, welcome to the City of Destiny, all of you. Some of you might be first time visitors to the Visakhapatnam for this 2 days wonderful conference being orchestrated, planned, and completely, got into nerves by the CMD and the team. So you would be seeing this particular area, you are roaming around this area particularly, we have the sea in the front and the city on the back side. The water is flowing from the high side, there's a Eastern Ghats on the back side of where I'm sitting. So water flows from the back side and goes into the city, but you will not see that water. So water is flowing under the carpet, under the earth. So definitely the work which has been done in Visakhapatnam traditionally uh, has been done in a planned manner, in a phased manner, and in very scientific temperament, I would say. Scientific in the sense that despite of we being in a political democracy, the effect of the politics per se has not been so much in terms of execution and planning and delivery of the projects. So this has been the one of the trademark, I would say, over the decade what we have achieved in Visakhapatnam per se. Second thing, we have a good assets in terms of human resources, which have a decent knowledge of selection of the PPP and financial structuring of the projects and the preparation of DPR. Of course, DPR is something which comes with LNB Srinivasi, who is the head of consultancy wing in the Andhra Pradesh. But the success of DPR depends on the local knowledge, because ultimately it's the engineer, it's a local guy, work inspector, who has to go into the details and work out the the right of way is available or not, or there are obstacles there which can come up during the execution period. So the traditional strength has been there in the GVMC, I would say. I'm just a face of that. So coming to the GVMC experience, particularly for the water sector, now I am sitting on the revenues of around 450 crores. So it's out of them around 250 crores is my annual collection, and this revenue of 450 crores, other than the 250 crores of water, 200 crores is because of the used water I'm getting. So I'm getting the water from my eastern Ghats, which are being used by the public in terms of grey water and black water. I'm connecting through them STPs, thanks to the central government grants, which we have discussed so far in the session. And we have rotated all this water to the STPs, and we have purified it and we're selling it to industries. So roughly all the steel plant or the plant sectors, manufacturing sector plants are getting the water from the GVMC. So that's how we are making money out of the water. We are making money out of the grey water. We are making money out of the black water. So this is where the strength of the corporation or the system lies. And I would say, I would completely agree with the Puvita ma'am in the sense that this is not possible only solely on the basis of local body until central government comes into the picture, because by and large the local body is capable of the operation maintenance and the basic services in terms of drinking water, street lights or sanitation per se. But when it comes to the long-term execution of project, definitely central government's role is very, very important. That's where I congratulate CMD HUDCO and its team that they have come up with this wonderful, exposure of the financing from the HUDCO side. And yesterday we had a MOU, opening MOU with the HUDCO, looking forward to the, pivotal engagement for getting the finance. Coming to Prabhatji, I'll just pose 2-3 questions because I was a little late in the session. I was expecting at 10:30. So Kerala has got good numbers. I was seeing it's on the top when it comes to 16 Finance Commission. So I was told that it is because of per capita. I'm not sure what is the logic behind it. And something you were quoting as a urban infrastructure premium, because I want to get more money for my city. So how can I get that? So that's where I want your guidance. So now going to the Urban Challenge Fund, it's a very good project actually, very good financial, outlay, I would say. Yesterday we were discussing with the Secretary Mahu also, sir was telling that now we are handholding the cities in the responsible manner. I mean the 25 rupees will be given by the center and the 75 should come from you. So that's where the city has to engage himself. It's like when we go to a showroom of, and a cloth store, they say 20% off. So whether to buy or not, that's the question, because if you're buying, we have to put 80% at least. So that is the question. There's a off, there's a sale is there, but whether to get that sale or not in a which manner, that's where the challenge lies. So particularly for GVMC, we have sent already the proposal of 1500 crores. Now we had a conference of for water security for the particular purpose of Visakhapatnam economic region, which we have showcased as one of the city economic region. So we are planning for the entire area for the purpose of water security. Desalination is one of them. So we are planning for desalination plant, cost maybe around 1200 to 1500 crores. Our team is working there, and out of that some component also we are pitching into UCF. So such kind of good projects and big projects, if the central government is handholding us, definitely it will be way forward for the city economic region to develop and city to grow forward. That's all my side. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Before I come, I think go to Prabhat to answer your question. I think the couple of points, very important points you made. I think one, of course, is project preparation. I think that's the key, and I think sometime that is a missing link. You know, like we have to invest a lot into project preparation, and it's not only just preparing a quality DPRs, but in terms of other impacts of the project and land acquisition and so many, because these are the issues that take time, and when you look at this private investment, I think these are very, very important issues to be addressed. Second point, I think about you have tapped all the resources, getting selling water, used water to the industry, and that's how you have built your revenue base. So which also is a good learning for many cities to follow this example. So maybe I'll answer his question on the allocation. Yeah.
So we know our census was done in 2011, and 16th Finance Commission has a question: how do you allocate money for urban within different states itself? We don't have updated urbanization data. They kind of relied on, there is a technical committee of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. They kind of project population across the states. What would be urban, what would be rural? They took that definition of the urban, and as per that definition, Kerala is around 80% urbanized. So they took that 80% urbanized, that's why the amount of money to urban local governments increased significantly in Kerala. So that's one thing where
Definition made all the difference.
definition made all the difference, yes. On the urbanization, on the special infrastructure component, so 60% would come from Finance Commission, 40% has to be mobilized by state and local government combined or through commercial borrowing or whatever means. I think the operational guidelines are yet to be issued, but it will, I think, in my understanding, it will follow the same process of any centrally sponsored schemes, where you are, or maybe urban challenge fund type of a scheme, where cities will be asked to send proposals and then they will allocate. Here the only my reservation is it shouldn't be the centrally sponsored schemes. Otherwise we know the 25% SNA and everything, it becomes stuck to a, like people in the room know better. So somewhere mix between grant and centrally sponsored schemes, but that operational guidelines are yet to be open.
I think just one more issue. I think Mr. Ketan, you flagged about Visakhapatnam is a city economic region, and one of the challenges what we think is the institutional coordination, because earlier like we used to have like you were like Visakhapatnam or Visakhapatnam Development Authority, which has its jurisdiction, but when we talk about economic region, we are talking about much larger area, and where there are census towns, village panchayats, all urban local bodies and all different schemes. There are different schemes for census towns by Government of India and state governments. So how you see this as a, is there any thought you have in here, I mean, thought about it, that when you talk about economic region and overall investment, how the investments get coordinated and synergized? And maybe after you, I mean, ma'am, I will also maybe ask you about this, because we heard that Bangalore recently decided to have this, unification of thing. So maybe you would like to share experience on that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Sanjay ji. It's a very important question. I mean, we are also finding the answer to this. So, economic reason is a concept of multi-sectoral, multi, dimensional, and also number of areas differ in terms of the nature, the context, and the definition. So, particularly Visakhapatnam economic region comprises of 10 districts, and Visakhapatnam GVMC per se covers 2 districts out of that. So when it comes to the coordination in any organization for that matter, I think the leadership matters the most, because it's a leader at the top level who has to ensure the coordination and who has to make the business smooth. So in terms of Vishaka economic region, we have created a structure from the side of state government, where VER itself is a body which comprises all the district collectors of 10 districts and which is headed by a secretary rank officer, secretary industries, now who Mr. Yuvraj sir, he is the CEO of the Visakhapatnam Economic Region. And it has been grounded under two sub-secretariats. One of them is the VMRDA, Mr. Tejbal, who is one of them, and second one is GVMC, where I am representing the institutional arrangement. And of course, district collectors are there. So by and large, the administrative heads of the regions have been part of the economic region to ensure the smooth coordination. And from the government side, one secretary level officer is there to coordinate from the government side. So I think this could have been one of the best possible arrangement in the scenario present, existing scenario we were making. Particularly, I give an example of water sector. So when it comes to water in GVMC, we are going beyond the GVMC region. Per se, the GVMC and the VISCO, another body, Visakhapatnam Industrial Water Supply Corporation Limited, and Smart City Corporation for the financial structuring of the projects. So we are going beyond the GVMC geographical area to ensure the water security in the larger VER area. Of course, not for the 10 districts, but to the extent of water catchment. For example, we get water from the Polavaram. So we are going up to the limits of 4 to 5 districts where we can ensure the water security beyond the jurisdiction limit. So that much autonomy is being allowed by the COVR or the state government per se. So I would say when we work in a conventional manner, the approach of regional planning may not be a successful one. When we think of that, is it my work? If that question comes first, it may not be the answer may not be the correct, and we might be restricting our limitation. For example, I know that there are smaller ULBs in the area which don't have the capacity to build upon their projects in terms of UCF or the economic region. So that's where we are handholding them. We are getting a premium, let's say 4.5% or 1%. Whatever the service charge we are getting, so I'm getting money out of the project which is being given by the central government. At the same time, we are handholding the smaller ULBs in the region beyond the GVMC, which may be asking for the expertise and the guidance which we don't have given the scope and size they have. So that's where we are playing our role, and it has been successful so far in terms of few projects, particularly in water sector and sewerage sector. In fact, I am handholding the Srikakulam Corporation, Vijayanagaram Corporation also. So these are the corporations, but still GVMC being the bigger one, we are going beyond the radar, and that's how the leadership matters. So CEO sir is also very positive about it, and of course there's a clear guidance from the SCM sir. So when I was asking the first question, Prabha how the Kerala is getting the money, it's a jealous factor I was asking with. So it is like we don't want to leave any project. We want to get as much as possible, and we want to delegate it and devolve it down to the ground level and the field level.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, now I'll pick from what Ketan has said. So as we are aware that we had Brihat Bengaluru Mahanara Palike, which now has been renamed as GB, and 5 different corporations have been carved. And if I may request one of the commissioners, Sunil sir, to brief on how the coordination issue happens, because generally KUIDFC works beyond Bangalore for other URBs. So if I may request Sunil sir to answer this question on the coordination issues that Bangalore is facing with respect to other stakeholders.
Invite Sunil sir.
Yeah, just please join the panel. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. I am Sunil, Commissioner, City Corporation, Bangalore North City. So on September 2nd, the BBMP, erstwhile BBMP, has been split into 5 city corporations, small city corporations, each having 25 to 30 lakh population. The West being the biggest, is having 43 lakh population. So when they formed the GBA, the idea was to reach out to the people on day-to-day basis. BBMP was too big, all power concentrated at the commissioner level. Though there were zonal commissioners, there were no sufficient powers, delegated to them. So when they formed the GBA, Greater Bengaluru Authority, they have appointed 5 different, IAS officers. And then, since there is no elected body, we have an administrator who is also the chief commissioner. So for all the GB resolutions, decisions, which are to be taken by the mayor, now are being taken by the administrator, who is also our chief commissioner. He heads all other 5 corporations as administrator, and his role as chief commissioner comes with regard to the coordination. So we have BWSSB handling water and sewage in the city, and then we have BESCOM, the Bangalore Electricity Distribution Corporation, and then we have traffic and other departments, transport, etc. So the chief commissioner, he is empowered with the coordination head, and he will be handling that coordination activity on behalf of GBA. The GBA, the Greater Bengaluru Authority, is headed by Honorable Chief Minister, and then vice chaired by Honorable Deputy CM, and then there are more than 80 members in the authority, and the member secretary being the chief commissioner. So that way, we are trying to, we are also trying to create a coordinating chief engineers and then a senior level officer attached to each city corporation. So what I'm trying to say is, we have Bangalore Water Supply and Sewage Board. I, as a North City Corporation, will have one chief engineer dedicated to handle, to coordinate the issues in North City Corporation. This is very essential. Otherwise, we are again struggling with the coordination issues. So from day one, it's been 6 to 7 months time now. We have been working on the public issues in the city. There's visible changes, I can say with confidence, with conviction, because we are there. We are there and we are empowered and we have financial powers. We can take immediate decisions. We are able to solve the problems immediately. So that way, even on BMTC and traffic, all other departments are supposed to have one dedicated officer at senior level. He may not be the head of the department. For example, BWSSB, that is Water and Sewage Board, is headed by another senior IAS officers. But at the commissioner level, I belong to 2011 batch. We need to ensure that all these things are taken care, and the next in command from each department of my jurisdiction will be working with me on coordination issues. We have also requested the authorities, the senior authorities, to make this coordination meetings at commissioner level a statutory requirement. That means every month the commissioner is supposed to conduct a meeting. If it is not statutory, then many officers don't attend the meetings. They have a lot of other excuses. The important decisions can be taken when people attend, the right people attend in the meetings. So I've been regularly conducting the coordination meetings, and still, NH, I'll have to do a lot of things with NH because I have airport road. There's a lot of metro work is happening. So the BMRCL chief engineers are supposed to attend. Then you have a lot of garbage. I was saying that, I was seeing the city of Vizag with a lot of jealous, as Ketan was quoting in case of Finance Commission. That city is so clean. So we are struggling day and night in Bangalore to bring some change, some visible change. It's too difficult, We have to learn a lot from Vizag. Me being from Andhra Pradesh, I'm proud of this city, and the great work has been done, for many years. It's not 1 year's job or something. We have a lot to do in Bangalore. We promise that, we are doing our best to bring change in Bangalore city. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think this coordination is a very big challenge, I think, and cities, different cities adopt different types of models. In recently, Maharashtra, we worked on Nagpur, the regional economic growth hub, wherein they are also thinking of putting a divisional commissioner is, of course, their own structure. So under that, they are thinking that we can coordinate all the activities in 7 districts. So I think this has to be evolved over a period of time. I think we are just time cautious, but yesterday we could not get opportunity because of the time pressure. But any one question quickly from the Anyone want to ask to the panel? I mean, I just give this opportunity today. Jyoti, you? No? Okay. No? Then maybe I'll ask Mr. Nagaraj to maybe give a concluding remarks and conclude the session. Thank you.
So, very good morning to all. It is a really wonderful panel, and we are really pleased to listen some such a wonderful stories like water supply scheme in Belgaum, Hubli, Dharwad, and one more great initiative and a very innovative thing, wastewater treatment, sewage water treatment being sold to industries and getting 400 odd crores. It's a great initiative by these urban local bodies. HUDCO has been associated for the last 55 years with all the ULBs. So far, we are working with more than 2,000 ULBs. We are having a fair amount of idea. We have seen how ULBs finances have been evolved, be it in the form of user charges or their own charges getting collected, especially collection efficiency of property tax. Couple of places even HUDCO has financed some innovative schemes. In one or two cases, without even asking for a government guarantee or even a mortgage of property, purely based on property tax. We have tried the models and it's very, very successful. The proceeds have been used for regeneration of lakes, so creating public utility, especially parks and all, with a minimal user charge. The success was really good. Similarly, we are always say that we are proud to associate with Sabarmati riverfront. When we started, no financial institution was willing to fund that. We have taken a very bold decision. There again, without insisting any guarantee, purely on the property tax screwing up Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation. We have done it. Now it is really a monument it has become. So I feel that with the latest support from the government of India, with a very focused urbanization, with the UCF and also infrastructure development fund, plus enhancement of their property tax collection, and such an innovative and a new young commissioners are being headed this municipal corporation. In maybe in the next 5 years, there will be a transformational changes in the RCT levels. I'm sure we'll be able to match up one of the best cities like Singapore or Dubai. I think it is not a dream, it is a reality in maybe in the next 10 years. Thank you so much.
Thank you to our very engaging panel, and thank you, sir, for also, very promptly joining us on stage and sharing your insights. At this time, I would like to invite Mr. Shivashankar, Regional Chief HUDCO from Bangalore, to please come on stage and extend our token of appreciation to each of our panelists. Thank you so much for joining us this morning and sharing your insights. We can put our hands together. Thank you to Mr. Sanjay Joshi for being our moderator this morning. Ms. Puvita, MD, KUID, FC. Mr. Ketan Garg, IAS, Commissioner GVMC. Mr. Sunil as well, I believe from Karnataka, but originally from Andhra Pradesh. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. You all can take a group picture if possible. We will be taking a short tea, coffee break right now. Coffee and tea will be served in the lobby, ladies and gentlemen. We will have another Q&A round. So I hope you come back prepared with more questions after the next panel discussion. Thank you. Enjoy your coffee break. Use this time to network with one another. Kindly take your seats. We have slightly overshot our break time, but I'm sure everyone had a lovely break. Everyone had a smile in the lobby, and everyone was networking, had time to take some good pictures as well, because I got a few myself. So we are ready to begin our next session, which will be our concluding session for a wonderful 2-day event organized by HUDCO. For our next session, which will be the unlocking infrastructure growth and financing in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, I would like to call upon our session chair, Shri Sanjay Kulshrestha ji, CMD of HUDCO, onto stage. Ladies and gentlemen, with a huge round of applause, we can welcome Shri Sanjay ji, who will be chairing this session. Welcome, sir. We also have with us Ms. Vasudha Thawakar. Welcome, ma'am, Senior Urban Development Specialist from New Delhi. We also have with us Mr. Abid Al-Razak Khalil, Practice Manager, Urban Resilience and Land Group, South Asia. A huge round of applause. We have with us Shri L. Madhubalan, IAS Commissioner, Trichirappalli, MC. Shri M. Shivaguru Prabhakaran, IAS Commissioner, Coimbatore Municipal Commission. Shri Rahul N. Urban Infra Expert, Amrit Government of Kerala. We welcome all our wonderful dignitaries onto the stage, and I will now hand over to Ms. Vasudha for your presentation, following which Mr. Abid would do his presentation, and then we will go into a discussion. Thank you.
Good afternoon. So our presentation is on infrastructure finance for Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. Yesterday, Ma'am Sri Devi spoke very eloquently about that the priorities of urban local bodies is service delivery for its citizens. Now, service delivery requires infrastructure, which requires finance. It's not working. Now, this presentation is divided into 4 parts. Opportunities, we lay out a financing framework, what are the instruments available, and then we'll go with 2 examples. So, opportunities. 51% of the manufacturing in India is already in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. They have diversified in services, logistics, technology. We have Hosur and Aurangabad, which are doing EVs. We have Indore and Coimbatore, which are doing IT services. Hubli, Dharwad, Chittoor in logistics. So when we say Tier 2, Tier 3 cities will form the backbone of Indian manufacturing and Indian growth, this is not an aspiration. It is already there. It's happening now. How we take it further depends on institutions and infrastructure. Zooming in on infrastructure, connectivity, and basic services. Again, this number of 840 billion has been quoted yesterday. Now, we'll move to the financing framework. So, as we go through this presentation, we will keep zooming in on a particular topic. Before we begin, let's differentiate between funding and financing because we use these terms very interchangeably in our work. What is funding? Funding is the ultimate source of money that pays for an asset or service. Property tax, water service, government grants. It answers the question, who is paying ultimately? Financing is how you acquire the capital upfront. Municipal bonds, loans, PPPs, these are instruments. So it answers the question, how do we pay for this now? Now there's a recognition that both sides of this equation need to be strengthened. Mr. Prabhat very nicely presented the increased grants to ULB by the 16th Finance Commission. The Urban Challenge Fund is pushing towards capital mobilization, trying to balance both these factors. Now zooming in further on financing. We have demand, supply, which impacts it, and a regulatory framework which connects the two. Supply is capital market, international sources, institutional investors. Regulatory framework are the rules of the game. What are the borrowing limits? What is the collateral? What are the creditor rights? Coming to the demand side, which is the focus of urban local bodies and the state. First question, what is the absorptive capacity? Not from the financial terms, but the implementation capacity, the ability to execute. O&M also gets factored into this. Shri Sudeshji spoke a lot about this yesterday. Povitha ma'am also spoke about it in the previous session. Because an urban local body will ask first, where do I invest? Can I implement it? And then can I maintain it? Next, we come to revenues and operational balances. These will be a function of a fiscal framework of the state, policy choices. Last is your accounting management system. This influences the demand, and the latter two determines the credit worthiness of a local body. So once a local body has decided that here is where I want to invest and I'm credit worthy, what happens next? We zoom in now on the access to market financing. For tier 2, tier 3 cities, we see that they are common across countries. What are these? Small scale of individual municipal borrowing. From the point of the view of ULB, it's rational. This is the amount of capital you need. Having said that, what it does is it raises the per unit transaction cost. Second, fragmented to market access, basically different urban local bodies approaching the market separately. Third, perceived risk of credit and repayment. This may not be the case per se, but this is perceived at times. This is because of limited credit history and mixed fiscal performance. Lastly, project preparation and financial structuring capacity. Now the CMD HUDCO also spoke about giving hand-holding support to urban local bodies on all these four fronts under UiWIN. To bridge these gaps, state support or institutional support to urban local bodies is critical. With this, we lay out our financial framework and we will move to the next section, which is how do we differentiate between local bodies to understand what kind of support should go to them and what are the instruments. So this is a framework or outline which we are preparing under one of our state projects. There is an urban infrastructure fund there, and it's going to provide not only financing but capacity building support to the urban local bodies. This is not to say that a urban infra fund is required. Essentially, it says that an agency which does this function is required. What does it do? It will take the urban local bodies and based on certain criteria, classify them to 4 broad groups. Type 1, high capacity, credit worthy. Type 2, moderate credit worthiness. Type 3, moderate to low. And type 4, lowest capacity. Now on this side, we have the different hand holding or types of support. First, technical assistance. This has to go across all local bodies. Then for the high capacity credit worthy cities, what we are saying is that there will be pool bonds, there will be credit backstop. For the moderate ones, it will be that plus also a mix of state loan, state grant. And for the last lowest capacity ones, right now there is only grant. Now once the state has given this capacity and is saying you are ready to unlock an instrument, what kind of debt can be accessed by the urban local body based on its size as well as on the type of the project. So on this side we have the instruments, the extreme left side, commercial bank loans, various kind of bonds in the first bucket which are specific to a local body. Then we have various pool bonds, financial institution loans. Now what we see is the first block is really relevant to the larger corporations. It is the second block right now which is most viable for tier 2, tier 3 cities. Having said that, if you build your credit worthiness, OSR, it also gets graduated to the top block. What it means is your menu expand, doesn't mean that one has to go for that. Now with that, we'll go to our last section, which is 2 examples which we will zoom in on. The first one is the Tamil Nadu pooled bond, because this is the most recent. We have 3 cities, Chennai, Tirupur and Coimbatore. And I see we also have Coimbatore with us here on the panel, and it will be super to hear more about the experience in the discussion. So this was done between May 25 to January 26. Amount raised ranging between 200 to 100 crores. The total amount raised was 451 crores. Now we have seen that there is oversubscription in all the three, showing investor confidence. And the use of proceeds obviously go to infrastructure projects. This was supported under a World Bank project, which still continues and will till 2030. It's 300 million. While there are various aspects to any project, I'll focus on the two main pillars which enabled this. Pillar 1, the technical assistance. Again, we go back to the enablers which we were talking about and the CMD also mentioned yesterday. So what does this constitute? Credit assessment, financial advisory services, credit rating, legal counsel, and preparation of various documents. Pillar 2 is really the credit enhancement fund. Essentially what it does is provide upfront cash collateral as a last liquidity backstop. Now an urban local body may not realize this or may not need to realize this. Essentially it is to give the investor confidence. So what are our learnings? That 1, upstream TA is a critical enabler. 2, a structured payment mechanism builds investor confidence because they feel if the first one is not working, they have a second and third. This one actually had 5 layers of structured payment. Third, credit enhancement unlocks higher ratings and lower cost. Complementing with state and central schemes also lowers the cost. In this project, there was a lot of coordination and leveraging with Amrut too. We'll now move to our international example and hand it over to Abhay.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a privilege to be with everybody here on the panel. As we've been talking over the last 2 days, the 400 and 500 million people who will move to cities in India most likely will be moving to tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So these cities would have to absorb a lot of people and therefore need to start thinking about strategic investment plans. 50% of the infrastructure required by 2050 is yet to be built in India. And most of this infrastructure would have to be built in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. And this is a good space to be because in these cities you can be much more planned. You can be proactive on how you go about the provision of services as opposed to old cities where we're reactive and the cost of delivering services becomes highly prohibitive. The fundamentals of how do we, when we talk about financing, I want to remind everybody it is not the end, it's a mean to an end. The end here is to make sure that the cities that you're working on are livable, are very vibrant, are very resilient, and the service delivery standards are up to international benchmarks. That's the objective of discussion. The whole conversation about financing is to make sure that we maximize the investments that you have to be able to deliver services as soon as possible. The fundamentals for us to scale up credit financing for cities are 3. First, you need to make sure that you strengthen the municipal credit, the fiscal aspects and program of the city, the financial management, the on-source revenue. These fundamentals need to be in place. Second, we need to develop a pipeline of bankable projects where we can do the technical, the identification of the project, the financial, technical, and environmental and social due diligence. And third, we need to expand the institutional investor participation and start understanding the regulatory limitations and start attracting the pension and insurance funds. Next one. This is an example from Brazil, where the World Bank is working with a regional intermediary fund. And then the intermediary fund is on lending to the cities. And the cities are executing the different projects and sub-projects that they have in their domain. This allows us to deal with the different problems. You have almost, 4,000 cities in India, 4,000 to 5,000 cities. So you need to make sure that we work with these intermediary funds to be able to work with the cities and to provide the hand-holding and the capacity building and the due diligence that is required. Next. So when we work with intermediary funds, there is the economy of scale advantage and benefit that you will get. You will have wholesale lending. We will be able to do creditworthiness screening and provide differentiated capacity and differentiated support to the cities depending on their needs and the capacities that they have. In the case of Brazil, it was also an opportunity for us to manage the currency risk associated with on lending to the cities. And the most important thing is that the intermediary fund become the anchor to provide the technical support and the anchor to provide the lessons learned from the cities and across the different cities. Next slide. So in summary, throughout the World Bank Group program across cities globally, we provide support to reduce perceived risk, where we can work on lender security mechanisms. We provide municipal risk sharing facilities. We also can enable and support access to capital through municipal bonds, credit enhancement, and concessional credit lines. We can work on enhancing the project viability and providing viability gap funding. And we can also, the most important part of us is making sure that we focus on reform, we focus on technical capacity building, and that's why we have an instrument that we call Program for Results, where we try to identify results, performance indicators, key metrics, and make sure that over time we continue to improve these metrics. Next slide. As mentioned yesterday with my colleague Paul, we are no longer a lending institution, we are a mobilization institution. That means we work across the World Bank, where we work with the sovereign entities and provide policy and institutional support and capacity building and lending. But we're also working with IFC, where we provide commercial financing and mobilization. And the third arm of the World Bank is the MEGA arm, where we provide insurance, reinsurance, and guarantee products. So these are the spectrum of the World Bank arms where we can provide flexible financing depending on the problem that we have. So we just have multiple products to whatever problem that you might be dealing with. Next slide. Thank you. That's the end of my slide. Now maybe I can turn to my panelists, and I have a few questions. My first question is for Mr. Sivaguru. Mr. Sivaguru, your city, Coimbatore, have recently issued a municipal bond. I would like to hear from you on the process and the experience that you went through to issue municipal bonds. How did you go about identification of the project? How did you engage with the market? What was the learning, and what is the impact of that municipal bond?
So Coimbatore has gone for 150 crores municipal bond recently. So we have successfully completed at 8.29% of interest rate. So that's a good thing. It's a great support to Coimbatore Corporation. The first time we are launching that such a municipal bond. So first the issue which came to us was identification of the projects, because initially we have selected solar project after having a experience from the Indore and other places, but that was rejected. Then again we have changed another two projects. We passed a resolution. We convinced all the political representatives. We sent to the government. That was also rejected. The third time only we successfully went for this Semmuli Punga. It's a very big park project where entry fees as a revenue source and other amenities were the revenue sources. And another thing, we went for the underground sewerage system. So the two projects we have chosen, that was successfully gone for the selection of the project we went for. So first thing is selection of the project and identification of project which is bankable, and readily the fund can be utilized for this project. So that's two things we had challenges. Even after the selection and completion of the municipal bond also, during the launching of this municipal bond, we had challenges of this. One of the project was iconic project. It is supposed to be completed before the government period ends. So we were assessing out the completion of the project. We have completed the project, but the municipal bond got delayed. So the contractor was pushing from our side. So how the payment has to be done, how the recouping the money to our account, these are the challenges we are facing initial stages. Somehow we have managed. And the second thing is the terms which related to the municipal bonds are very new to us. The capability of the corporation itself is understanding the merchant bankers and legal counsel and all these trustees. All those things are new to us. So initially the capability and training to all this stuff and the collection of the audited accounts for the past 3 years, when the municipal bond is getting delayed, the account statements we have to, new account statement has to be prepared for the particular year. So those challenges we had initial time, but anyhow we have managed for going those things. So major challenges from our the technical side, and credit enhancement facility tying up with the state government for 13 crores as a credit enhancement, that's also got a little challenges. Once all these things are settled, we have successfully launched this project. This is very much useful for the corporation. Otherwise, I have to stress the property tax, because that the property tax was already tied up with the various other projects. So this is a big relief for the corporation finance.
Excellent. And it's great to hear about your dedication and the fact that the first time you got rejected, you win. So it takes a lot of commitment to go through this. And I know the bar is higher for issuing municipal finance. But one follow-up question. Oftentimes people talk that these municipal bonds improve the discipline within the municipalities. Is that your experience, that it allows you to?
See, every time I am seeking grant, I will not have a responsibility of paying back. Every time I will be getting from somebody else and will do the expenditure. I will become mostly like expenditure department. I want to generate my own revenue and spend it. Then only the discipline will come up, and the efficiency of the utilization of the money also will come up. The responsibility and accountability fall on the corporation to pay back. So the streamline of entire finance is very, very important for the corporation. The previous chief secretary used to say, whenever he reviews, he asks about the property tax. He says the revenue is the core thing, which is a pillar, which is the corporations lying around. So we have to focus about the revenue. So in the revenue support from the municipal bond and other source of the revenues also is very, very important for the corporation to run it successfully.
Excellent. As you can see, revenue is the most fundamental building block for us to maximize financing for infrastructure development. Madhu Balan, your tier 3 city, Trichy, you must have significant infrastructure needs. What are you thinking? How are you planning to go about it?
So very good afternoon to everyone. Tiruchirappalli City Corporation, I'll give a little background. It's a population of 11 lakhs, and after Coimbatore has raised the municipal bond, we also raised the municipal bond recently, last month only. We started the process for this municipal bond in Jan 2025, and it has taken us nearly 13 months for us to get the funds. Initially it was very difficult because this is very new to us, and initially we approached the credit agency to give us a rating, and the credit agency gave us a very bad rating, so we were shocked that we will not be able to proceed. Again we approached a second rating agency, and they gave us a double A. They gave us a double A, which was satisfactory. And so again we had to comply with the SEBI guidelines. We had to appoint an auditor, individual auditor, to prepare the annual statements and everything. And we had to get an help of another advocate to prepare all the legal compliance statements. So it was very challenging for us, and finally we went for the filing, and then we got 100 crores for a project. The project we did was for the construction of a integrated wholesale vegetable market outside in the outskirts of the city limits. It was basically to decongest the city from traffic. It was a very important project for us, and we were very trying for various sources of funding, but then at a very critical point this came as a very big help. Municipal bonds came as a very big help, and now the construction is already underway. Though we could have raised this 100 crores in an alternate source, we have two funding agencies with the government of Tamil Nadu, TUFIDCO and TUFIZIL, which has been raising at an interest rate of 5.25%. To get the Amrut incentive, we were asked to go for this municipal bonds, and now we have raised at an interest rate of 8.5%, which is higher compared to the alternate options. But then what we feel is, going forward to meet all the infrastructure requirements, municipal bonds is the only way which we can see. But then we need further simplification of the procedures by the regulator SEBI, because as an urban local body we cannot be compared to a corporate. We cannot follow all the procedures which is we should be followed by corporate. We are such a substructure of the government. So we need further simplification by the SEBI as well as much more guidance, so that we can raise much more funds from the municipal bonds.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. I think one lesson learned is if you don't get a good credit rating, you go try another credit rating agency. You might get a better one. No, but in a serious terms, I think simplification of the process is a very good lesson learned. Mr. Rahul, you've been engaged with AMROOT implementation on Kerala. You've provided a lot of substantial support to multiple cities. What are your insights? What are the lessons learned? What are the challenges that we still have to tackle as we're trying to support cities at scale?
Thank you. Actually, I am in a situation where everybody is talking about revenue and pooling of sources and all. I am on the other side. Actually, we were in the execution side of it. So I was always thinking of after executing a project, when we are going to a sustainability part of it. So all the projects, if it is executed also, what we lack is the sustainability part, the O&M part, the training and the funds for these O&M is not secured in most of the cases. And taking cases like Kerala, there is no particular vertical systems in the governing system where we can entrust this O&M part to the technical side. They'll create the infrastructure, they will do the planning, everything is done in a proper way. But when it is coming to the sustainability part, I think we are lacking the follow-ups. Every time we need a particular system, like if I take an example of Amrit projects in Kerala, we have done around 98.9% execution, and we are doing the O&M part also. Still we are going through that, and Amrit 2 we are taking up. So when UiWIN came up, Amrit group was entrusted with the responsibility of it. So I basically feel that there is a need of a permanent vertical or even verticals to handle these kind of situations. And funds actually, as everybody has spoken here, actually Sanjay sir in the morning, he has almost explained everything through the Amrit projects, Amrit 2, UIDF, CER and all. And being Kerala in a special situation, there is no separation between urban and rural in Kerala. It's a continuum. It's urban-rural continuum, and almost 90% of it is urbanized sector. That is why the scale of 3,000 crores to 16,000 crores, which sir has envied, or Ketan sir in the last session, he envied, and at the same time we were thinking that how we will be organizing to spend or to realize these projects with these enormous urbanization challenges.
Are there cities that have cracked this challenge of dealing with operation and maintenance and the sustainability of the infrastructure? What has made these cities successful? Are there any examples?
Actually, it's a small state and the connectivity is too good in the coastal sector. So the whole belt of it has evolved in such a way that, and the literacy rate, everything is pretty good there. So everybody is urging for development. So every small city, even the panchayats, they compete with the cities to gain such facilities, such capabilities, and even when we are setting some criteria for competitions or challenges like this, so they will be coming and asking us that, can we participate in that also? Can we get the additional amount? So getting the finance, they are trying very good, and wherever it is possible, it is getting used properly. And only thing I feel is that, as today morning it was discussed, it should not be a city centered. It should be like CER, and Kerala can be considered as a full CER region as a whole.
Excellent. I think these are important insights. It's not about the provision of infrastructure. It's not about securing financing. It's also about making sure that we have the whole life cycle plan for the given infrastructure. thinking about operation and maintenance, thinking about sustainability from the outset, making sure that reminding everybody it's about meeting service standards and improving them, having KPIs for the performance, for citizen satisfactions, and continue to monitor these performance indicators and continue to improve in them. The infrastructure provision, the financing, again, is a mean to an end to improve the people's life. So maybe we can have a space for 2 questions from the audience. Don't be shy. It's your colleagues, have a lot of experience.
I think you all have just answered all the questions. No, but I'm sure there are questions. So we do have time until and unless you are all very hungry for lunch already. No, we do have time. Somebody's there? Okay. Sir, kindly tell us who you are addressing your question towards as well.
I am Raman. I am from Andhra. I am a financial expert working for APOML, one of the vertical intermediary, I can say. I think we are creating assets, and all the sessions we talked about how to fund that asset and make it. But as he said, the O&M, that's a major thing. I think how much we are concentrating on that is a question. It also needs funds. For example, AP needs, I have read somewhere, 3,000 crores is required for O&M. But only banks are giving this working capital. Some kind of structure we have to make for a long period, at least for the lifetime of that product which we have made. For that, some O&M arrangements also. After completion of the project, a O&M arrangement also has to be by hand holding the municipalities. That will be good for next 15 years for what is the lifetime of the project, not to that extent. Handhold for at least 6 or 7 years. Once, for example, sewage projects, once we started collecting charges, sewage charges or something, it will take reaching 100% at least or 80%. It will take next 3 or 4 years, I am saying minimum, to reach that level to have the projected revenue. So for that, any instrument or any product, if it is there, it will be helpful for the municipality as well as the institution which has funded it. I need some explanation from the panel.
So the one of the project which you have taken for UGC's project for the municipal bond. So during that, to maintain that initial period of 3 to 4 years, in Tamil Nadu government we are taking deposits from the users, like 10,000 rupees per connections. That is being used for the O&M for the initial period of 3 to 4 years or even for the 5 years. Then we have this responsibility of the agency to collect the user charges and give the connections before the 2 to 3 years of time and get the user charges and time and billing it, properly collecting it. That gives the responsibility for the citizen point of view as well as for the corporation point of view, so that we can reduce the burden and take up the new projects. Otherwise, we'll be in the loop, we'll be in the, we'll stuck in that. So that the deposits will help us for the initial O&M. Even for this is first time when they are talking about the sustainability, this is the first time of the history in Coimbatore Corporation. The first time we are charging the user charges in the Kuruchi Coimbatore project by convincing the political representatives. Earlier, whenever I get the loan or something from the state government, simply they will sign it. When I gone for the municipal bond, they have asked the question, why is our municipal bond? Our accounts will be exposed. Then why there is this kind of risk they are asking? When we are going for collecting the charges, we are fixing the charges. Suppose 15 rupees per person or 30 rupees per person. They will ask us to make it 5 rupees. Then in turn, I told them, madam, we got the municipal bond. You know, you only signed, you and me signed. We make it this project sustainable for the next 15 years. So we have to ensure that the user charges are lying at the appropriate level so that we can pay back also. So that was approved, that was signed. So earlier the political parties used to be in the other side. Now they are with the official side to make this project sustainable.
So
Just to come in here, sir, this is very important and this has been raised throughout. So what we have started doing in the last quite few years is that till now, the sub-project financing was only focused on the capex cost. So you start building in the OM cost also, at least for 3 to 4 years. So for example, we have several DBOT contracts for water supply. We build in the O&M cost in the first 3 years, and so that gets done. But during the and also many of these are small urban local bodies. So the same question that somebody else is putting in the capex and someone else then owns it and has to maintain it. So one, the urban local body comes up front during the capex and they know this is going to happen. In 3 years, this asset will be handed over to them. Then once the asset is handed over, they know they have 3 years where the government is going to give a grant or a certain portion of the O&M, but they have to have user charges, etc. in place. So they start it incrementally because you're not going to suddenly get user charges even though it is a revenue generating project. For example, in this case, what happened, they had put meters, people started taking off the meters. Now what do you do? So the urban local body told them, in the first year, we will collect only 120 rupees flat charge. So everybody knows there is no insecurity that the meter may pop up a large number. So it was an incremental approach, but built in. Thank you.
Again, excellent. Do we have more questions?
Yes.
Okay, Sarab, yeah.
So, during this discussion and just now, my question is addressed to the two municipal commissioners. When you're thinking about raising money as bonds, is there a formal fiscal math around this on, how much money is it sustainable for you to raise today so that it does not strain financing of the future? So, affordability and liquidity are, related but different aspects. So how do you make sure that affordability and long-term affordability or sustenance of any debt that you raise is thought through in a frameworked approach, if that is already happening, and how does that framework look like?
So to answer to that question, initially our project cost is 236 crores. So we did an initial math, how much we can raise through municipal bonds, how much we can ask state government for grants and all. And then when it came to municipal bonds, we thought we should restrict to 100 crores only, because seeing our property tax, how much property tax we can collect, how much property tax we should be able to allocate to every year for the repayment. And they said repayment was for 10 years. That was a projection. So for 10 years it is means we can afford to go for only 100 crores. So we were requesting state government for the rest of the 136 crores. And state government also sent a team, also reviewed our accounts and everything. And then they finalized it for finally 100 crores. But then now we are thinking that we should be able to increase our revenues in the upcoming years, so that we will be able to pay the interest as well. Since our property tax accounts are now escrowed, and we should be in a position to pay the interest. Otherwise we will face an issue of increase in the interest rates, since it is tied up to the market. So we don't want to take that risk. So we also have now set a target of yearly revenue growth of property tax. So that's how we worked on.
You were asking about the fiscal framework before going for this municipal bond. So, like in the whatever the loans we are getting for the past 10 years, also some of the loans have been running. The future payments also there. So everything was accounted properly. So what is our remain? That was the credit rating agency. They are doing it properly. They are doing audit thing based on your payment repayment, like paying back your capability only. They are giving the ratings. So that fiscal framework of that fiscal closure of a particular project like this is. And this portion is ULB contribution, this portion from the smart city fund, this portion is from the government grant, this may be for the ADB loan. It has some 5-6 components. So based on our capability only we are going at. So when we are going for the first bond, I was asking for the second bond also, but based on the capability is little higher. So we are looking for the project. So next project. So this fiscal framework, creation of that fiscal framework took us nearly 1.5 years. Now we are ready with every equipments. So now we can go for the next one then. So this framework is very, very important.
There is a question here.
One more.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Vivek from HUDCO. My question is from both Madhubalan sir and Sivaguru sir. Sir, we are talking about the big ULBs having a population of 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs. I want to talk about the smaller ULBs having a population of 1 lakh, 2 lakhs. What should be their first take, as you are both of you are experienced in bringing the municipal bond? Because we are getting the smaller ULBs also. What should be their first take to move ahead with the bringing the municipal bonds?
For the smaller ILBs, even yesterday I heard that they can even go for 25 crores also municipal bond. Even 10 crores also they can launch. That's a practice, okay. So if any smaller ULB is going for the first municipal bond, they have to suppose why I was deciding the solar plant. My expenditure per month is 4 to 5 crores for the EV charges I am paying. So I can directly take this 4 to 5 crores. I can utilize these 4 to 5 crores to pay back my municipal bond. So I decided that we'll go for solar plant. We make our corporation as completely renewable energy based and use this property tax money which I'm giving to the TNEB. That money can be used for this paying back for municipal bond, so that I can have this within the 6 to 8 years. I'm having a payback period. This solar plant I can use it for minimum 20-25 years. So two things I am achieving. One thing is my proper tax bank, the TNB is also coming down. Second thing is after 5 to 6 years I am generating more revenue for the corporation also. So we have to take the smaller cities should take such kind of project similar to the bankable projects, so that that will whatever the expenditure they are already doing it, that can be diverted to the payback the municipal bond, and within 5 to 6 years they will generate that also. So they will generate additional revenue also. That kind of project if they are choosing it, that's a finishing, that is a fundamental project they can choose, after which above which they can build any kind of projects. So that is one suggestion I have experience I used to share.
Sir, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for engaging conversation. Listen, India at a juncture point. Urbanization trajectory will be led by you, and it will determine how the cities of India would look like in 10 years. Whether they will be cities that are faced with pollution and congestion, where the poor live in one side and the rich live in one side, or cities that are inclusive, that work for the poor and for the rich, cities that are vibrant, cities that are resilient. All of this will depend on the capacity and the systems that you will put on your cities, and your ability to leverage financing and deliver services and make sure that you continue to improve on the performance of these services. The UiWIN is the platform to work with you to underwrite the trajectory of urbanization. I want to turn over to Sanjay, who is the visionary behind this platform, to kind of provide his closing remarks. Sanjay, over to you.
Thank you, Khalil. Thank you, panelists. Wonderful discussions, wonderful inputs. Some of eye-opening as well. I have a question to the municipal commissioner. There is two ways of raising the bonds. One, identify the project, identify the revenues, rate your municipal corporation or that bond issuance. Is there some crowdfunding for the smaller ULBs through the citizens to improve their service, which may be also a SABI link kind of product, so that a confidence of that citizens will come and they will be appropriating say 1 lakh rupees per head, and you are giving a return of say 8.5 or 8.29, which is generally is a very good return. Okay, is this model is also available in your cities, in smaller towns?
This model we are not having it, sir, but when I launched the municipal bond, many of Coimbatore people called me and said, sir, can I invest? Can I invest in this municipal bond? That's a question many of the VIPs asked. So people are having shown the interest, because there are a lot of private investments are coming into the city. When they are also investing in the corporation, the confidence level of that local investors is boosting up. But that mechanism is yet to develop from my knowledge. My state level people are also here. My knowledge, it is as of now it is not available. We have to create a mechanism.
Sir, when you are talking about crowdfunding, initially before I'm in Trichy now. Before I was in Tuticorin Municipal Corporation, which is a tier 3 city having a population of only 5 lakhs. So we were we wanted to build a convention hall because Kudi is an industrial city. A lot of industrial conferences are happening. So we wanted the municipal corporation to build a big convention hall which is costing around 50 crores. The government was ready to give only 25 crores. The next balance 25 crores we went for crowdfunding, and crowdfunding is in process now. So all the we are approaching the industrialists, we are approaching the industrial associations, builder associations to give us the funding, and still it is in process. So apart from municipal bonds, this is also a viable source. Only thing is that we need specific guidelines, and what will be the response of share pattern for the corporation as well as the private body who is going to operate it.
True. There are different models which are available, starting from the REITs or InvITs or AIF. Out of that, you can create a value, and the citizens can make their deposits into that. So, I think a lot of instruments are available for the small tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 cities as well. Starting from a 1 crore funding, if you require 1 crore and 10 people are depositing that 1 crore and you are giving a return of 8.59%. I think it's a very bankable, viable, and sustainable kind of infrastructure which will be created dedicated for that particular lane only, for the particular set of persons only, and where the ULBs will also be the partners in that. So apart from that, I will come back to the question what Mr. Khalil has posed. Uh, from the inception of this idea of the UiWIN, we were discussing with our ministry, World Bank, ADB, many policy leaders, that how to create value in the ULBs. After a lot of discussions with honorable ministers as well, finally this idea was conceived to handhold the ULBs, and we had created an idea which is still evolving, and we had taken a lot of inputs out of this regional workshops, thanks to all the participants, which will keep on evolving. But I think the underlying statement will remain that how our cities will become of the global standards, or rather the services up to the citizen satisfaction level, as Mr. Khalil has just said, whether we want a congested, polluted kind of cities, or we want city a livable, a growth hub, growth engine kind of thing, which will develop several other cities. So this UiWIN is the idea to propagate that thing. Here, HUDCO, in association with our partners, will be extending the hand-holding supports to the ULBs, be it bonds, attracting the investors, attracting the multilateral banks and partners, leveraging their capacities of best practices, international experience, trainings, capacity building, domestic trainings. Since we also have an training institute, very soon we will be coming out with our training courses. I will request all the commissioners and the officers to participate in these trainings, and we will be associating with ADB and World Bank also, that how the best kind of training arrangements which will be more practical, more aligning to the government of India programs, mission, the priority of the states, the economic driver of that particular area. Because from last day we are thinking, we are discussing that how these projects can be made bankable, how the pipeline of the bankable projects will come. And at the same time, we are discussing how the expenditure can be reduced, or you can say optimized, and how the incomes can be increased. I think there are only 2-3 ways of doing all these things. Because within the municipal corporation, whatever funding is available, we cannot go for bigger projects. So we have to rely on Government of India funds. For relying on Government of India funds, there are certain compliances for that. We have to create a project. And now the governments, even the state government or the central government, everybody is talking about the bankable. Because during last 75 years, we had done a lot of things for the trunk infrastructure. During last 10 years, Amrit, Swachh Bharat Mission, Smart City, we had never talked about the bankability of the smart city. Assets are created. Even in Kerala, if you see, I had visited some of the project. I think in Trichy last time when I was there. Infrastructure is there, but the revenues are not coming out of that assets. So this has initiated the idea, one of the initiation for these UCF. It is not only the investment, it is actually the return on investment, expansion of that investment. So with all these idea, this UiWIN is launched. I will request all the municipal corporation and the senior officers present here to please add some idea to this thing, because it is not a standard product. It is not a policy framework. It is an idea only. So you can please add your idea into that, and we can keep on evolving these ideas. We will be hand-holding the ULBs. We will be addressing the training needs, the capacity building needs also. We will try to optimize cost of funds also. If you have some time to come out with the bonds, because 1000 crores bonds, because now 100 crores is the incentive which is available from the government of India. It may take some time, some pooling is required, some pooling of assets, properties, projects is required to come up with the idea of 1000 crore bonds. So in case you need something like bridge loans or something like that, at the same rate, around the same rate, that can also be discussed. So the only point is that the money is not a problem. The project formulation is the biggest challenge in this house that we need to address. And second, what Ketan has in the previous session has told, it is the coordination between the agencies which is much more required. So one is the formulation of the project, creating value of your own assets, and second is the coordination between the different departments, different municipal corporation, state government, central government. So I think this is also the underlying problem that needs to be addressed to cut down the cost of fund, cost of time, to cut down cost of funds also, timely availability of the funds, rightful execution of the contracts, and before that the right SBD and technical specifications. All these things needs capacity building, starting from the asset level capacity building, technical capacity building, and the administrative or governance capacity building. I was discussing with Mr. Ketan, and because he has put in a framework that how this city economic regions will be developed and what kind of administrative or governance structure will be there, where all the municipal corporate commissioners will be there, the district magistrates will be there. But my suggestion to commissioners is that please include some chief investment officer kind of officers who understand the market within your framework, because you may be transferred after 2-3 years, but that person will remain. He may come for 3 years or 5 years of the time with good experience of the financial markets and the capital market, have a good interaction with them. He will become your guide, and whatever you are deciding, he will come out with the options and the framework, and he will be dealt in a way like corporate, and support him with 2-3 junior officers. It will create more value into your systems only. And I think I will end here only, because everybody is looking at me. I think I am between the lunch. So thank you so much for attending, and thank you so much.
They are waiting for lunch, or they are very eager to listen to you more, all of you on this panel, one of the two. So thank you so much to our wonderful panel. At this time, I would like to invite Mr. Shyam, Regional Chief for Kerala, to please come on stage and felicitate and give a token of our appreciation to all our dignitaries here for their time and for sharing their expertise. We can put our hands together, ladies and gentlemen. So in this session, we have discussed unlocking infrastructure growth and financing in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. And like we have seen, both our commissioners have shared their insights, challenges, and they were absolutely candid and honest. Challenges and opportunities in Tier 2 and Tier 3 towns, catalyzing inclusive and comprehensive growth, how cities can onboard projects in UiWIN, If I can just request you all to stay on stage for a few more minutes, because this time we would like to open up this forum to all our audience who have been part of yesterday's event and today's. If you would like to share any takeaways, this is the first regional workshop, you may be seated. This is our first regional workshop that is being hosted by HUDCO, and I hope you keep coming back to Visakhapatnam as well. But anybody who would like to share some important takeaways or anything that you would want to see in the future workshops as well, this is your window to share your thoughts. Anyone from the audience or the officials on stage as well, anything that is a takeaway? Yes,
So,
sir. Yes.
the thing is that whatever the budgetary provisions
Yes.
that we learned through this seminar, that's an important thing. And we have met many people, like even from the credit trading agency and other people also have personal interaction that helped a lot for going for the next thing. And the another thing is we want to have one part of the session maybe for the list of the projects successfully completed by the various corporations. That will give us a guidance. I can apply, okay, this project is suitable to me or not. This is suitable, this is okay, I have this land, I have this potential. So this list of projects are giving it, and definitely it will give us a guidance for the choosing the project. The major thing for going for this municipal bond or any other funding mechanism is projects.
Okay.
If it is a Bangalore project, definitely will be a successful thing. So that's what we want: list of project, explanation on the successful stories and case studies or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Shiva. I think that is a great suggestion, sir, especially the positive stories part. Yes, sir.
I think this is a great suggestion, and we will take the responsibility for consolidating all the best practices, including the issuance of the bond against the projects, and we will create a website where the best practices can be shared.
I think actually this is a great forum, yes. To even record testimonials that have come from our audience, maybe we can consider that after the event.
First of all, thank you for all. Ellarkum namaskaram. I'm from Kerala. I'm a municipal councillor, and I have our chairman sitting here. This is our first opportunity to get into such a seminar. UiWIN, that means UiWIN, I win. Especially into Kerala, we are a municipality of just 66,000 of populations. You all are talking about your basis of tier 2, tier 3 systems. We people have much more opportunity to develop more, and into that UiWIN will be a great opportunity for this, I think. And we just are thinking just now only asset monetization. Our asset, how it will be monetized. We have our Grama Panchayats around situated around. We in Kottakkal municipality, famous for Ayurveda, a great Ayurveda business is going on there. And we are surrounded with 7 Grama Panchayats, over 20,000, 40,000. I don't know how we can assemble these all things and make a good project. We have viable, and we are much waiting for the next episodes of UiWIN to get into this. Wherever the courses or studies are, we'll be there. Excellent. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much for sharing that. It's very encouraging. Anyone else from the audience? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure. Is there a mic there, sir?
Namaskar. I am Raghu Prasad, Additional Commissioner from Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation. We have taken municipal bonds of worth 1 crore in the initial stage at the rate of 10.5% interest rate. As of now, 495 crores of municipal bonds we have taken. So one of the concern is the interest rate is compared to other market funding, seems to be on high side. Even though we are getting incentives from central government under various schemes, but this is one of the concerns, sir. Thank you.
Actually, see, one is the institutional framework to cut down the cost of funds. But what is the interest rate? As a definition, if we are putting our money in our pension funds or mutual funds, what kind of returns we are expecting? Because any financial institution, including HUDCO, we are taking loans from the banks only. Bank is giving this money as a return to the normal retail holders only. So it is all reflective kind of actions. Uh, we are a bulk loan taker from say SBI, we are taking 20,000 crores. SBI is charging around 7.75 or 8%, whatever. They are giving around 7.5% on your deposits only. If we cut down or SBI cut down the cost of funds, then there is a big problem for the pension funds, the social funds, because you have to see this space as a circle. Money is from the retail market only, for us from our salaries only. It is being deposited into the accounts, it is going to the bank, bank is extending loans to the NBFC, NBFC is extending loans to you kind of this thing or from the bond market, and again it is this interest is going back to this. So this is a cycle and it needs to be more leveraged, and RBI is a regulator for that. So it is a market driven interest rate, so reducing the interest rate is not in the hand of the lenders or anyone. Finally, the retail deposits decides what kind of interest rate the lenders should charge. Lenders can only do one thing, that they should try to optimize their cost. While trying to optimize cost, they borrow from the international markets. Then again the risk will come of the currency fluctuations, or otherwise they have to cut down their own cost of funds, which are very not a remarkable kind of interest reduction, because these financial institutions didn't have that kind of establishment cost. So this is the few things I will like to just state. Thank you.
Sir, I am Additional Commissioner Verma, GVMC. Sir, regarding issuance of bonds, sir, we are also earlier 4 times issued bonds, raised bonds, but the CB regulations are very congested to when compared with the corporate sector. For small ULBs or medium tier ULBs, it has to be little flexible. It has to be little flexible because we are facing so many constraints. We have to engage trustees and advocates and everything. So we are conceptuating that we have to raise bonds by all the ULBs, even smaller ULBs also. Then the regulations has to be relaxable in some fields. That is my opinion. And the another is for raising bonds or for getting loans from any international finance corporations or ADB, the submission of audited accounts is must. But what are here happening is the state authority, state audit department is taking so much time for doing audit. Meanwhile, it is better to facilitate to submit audits getting done by some chartered accountants, just like as done in Tamil Nadu government.
I think second part can be thought of, but regarding the first part, in the financial market, the regulator is SEBI, and which is agnostic kind of regulator. They didn't differentiate between the public and the private. Again, the answer is same, because it's our money, the retail money, the customer's money. So I don't think they will be compromising regarding the process, because investors needs the confidence that their money will come back.
Yes, because even we have to be more cautious that even one day delay payment will also step down our credit rating also. Even for in technical issue also.
I think this is the essence of issuance of the bond, the financial discipline and the prudence.
Now, since this is the first workshop, I think it has given an overall picture of what are the options for the investment, and then we were able to listen to few of the success stories from certain city corporations. Now, I think going forward, we should have more focused workshops, probably involving more of the Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities representatives, both the elected representative also. So I suggest that if HUDCO can take it state level, involving all the stakeholders in the state, and inviting all the experts, and not just letting us know the successful case stories where various investment options has not worked for us also. I think that will help us learn from the mistakes, and then will expose us to, like Madhabalan was sharing a small crowdfunding experience. So probably big investment options will not work for tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So I think probably initiating a discussion on other viable options, or like learning from the experiences of other state people also, I think that will help. But overall this has been a very learning experience, not just learning from the panels, of course the offline discussions also that we had with different streams of people, that has been really helpful. Thank you for doing this.
I think it's a good idea, ma'am. Thank you for the idea. And we will be holding at least in the 5 states, because the idea has already started in these states and the Puducherry. Let us start working with the states, and then we will travel down to the cities also. And as I was also mentioning that HUDCO has created one technical assistance fund also. We will be coming out with the guidelines, and uh, we can we can also extend some financial help for feasibility reports, TEB reports, or understanding the project, what kind of projects or the economic activities are there in the ULBs. And we will be happy to work with the ULBs, and we will be organizing the state level. But one good thing is that all the young IAS officers, the policy makers for the future are here, and they are actually discussing that kind of idea. So we are very sure that the policies will be more understandable, and the implementable, and future of Bharat is very bright.
Thank you so much to our audience for their active participation. And as a layperson who does not belong to this industry, sir, if I may add my own comments as well. Yesterday evening, I went back home, and my husband and I are both tax-paying citizens. And I said, today I finally have hope, because I know where our tax money is going. And it was very, very encouraging for us to hear all the stories that worked over the past 2 days. And if I have to sum up, I will quote what Srinivas ji said yesterday: you win, I win, so we all win together. You have been an amazing audience, and we would like to thank our panel as well. But before you leave, sir, I would like to invite Dr. Vivek Gupta for the vote of thanks, post which the panel can take a picture and then we can disperse.
Thank you all for being with us for 2 days and making our workshop great success. All the present in the hall, I make a request, a great round of applause for the participants. Those who are available, those who are watching a live webcast. I sincerely thanks Honorable Minister, Honorable MP Sir, Honorable Secretary Sir, our CMD Sir, DCP Sir, DF Sir, and the distinguished guest, Monica ma'am from NAPFID, our World Bank participants, the consultants, and the commissioners, senior IAS officers from the 5 southern states and the UT of Puducherry. You have made this our first regional workshop successful. So thanks a lot for you, and for me also to carrying this forward for second, third, fourth, and so on and so forth. Another thing, I will end my vote of thanks by saying, Viksit Bharat by 2047, take my words today, all the municipal corporation, municipal commissioners, you are going to be the growth driver for the country. Thank you very much to all of you. Thank you very much.
I request the panel to step forward for a group picture, post which, of course, we will go for lunch. And this concludes successfully the first regional workshop for the Urban Invest Window. On behalf of HUDCO, I've been your host for the past 2 days, Laura. We would like to thank our event partners, Razzmatazz. We would like to thank all the people that worked extremely hard to put this event together. Please join us for lunch. But if any of our non-Andhra friends need help locally to shop, or to visit some places, you can always come and meet me. I will assist you for that. Thank you so much. Have safe trips back and have a wonderful afternoon enjoying the city of destiny. Thank you. Bye-bye. Signing off. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. You made me emotional actually. बताइएगा कहीं पे भी travel करना है, आना है तो बताइएगा. I will definitely come. Thank you so much.